Hello, hello, change makers. Sandra Modaffri here with another live recording. And I'm very, very excited tonight because I've got someone slightly different to what we have seen over the last couple of weeks with a lot of coaches and therapists jumping on. And today we've got someone who's going to bring something a little bit different. And I think something that's important for everyone to learn. Because some of the biggest investments that we make when we buy our home and when we renovate our homes. Yet what we tend to do is we don't think about all the time and effort and money that goes into one of the biggest assets that we all own. And we think we can do things ourselves. And I've been there and I know that it can be a little bit difficult. So I'm proud to announce that tonight we have Lathika Nair with us, who is an interior designer, and she does help people renovate their homes and stay within their budgets. I'm going to let her tell you all about it, but also save you money because she stops the pitfalls of when you do try and do things yourself. So good evening, Lathika. How are you?
Hey, Sandra, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for that amazing introduction.
Not a problem. So you're based in Melbourne, but I'd like you to tell everyone how you got into this field and what you enjoy most about what you do, because I just love speaking to creative people, and you're definitely very creative because I've seen some of your work.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for that compliment. Yeah, well, to be honest, from very young age, from what I can recall, I've always been into creating, designing, art. All these things fascinated me. It was quite interesting. And somewhere in my early school days, I came across this word architecture. And somebody told me it is something where you get to create, build, work with people. And I think I was in about grade 5 or 6, and I decided, yep, that's what I want to do. And I remember walking up to my daddy and saying that, and he was all for it. Well, I've been fortunate because in the city I moved, I took an entrance examination for architecture, and I scored a seat in one of the top universities in India. And it was a 5-year rigorous training, the Bachelor of Architecture degree. And that's when I realized it's not just fun and creation. There's a lot of science, there's technology, there's mechanics, and a lot of other things that go into it. But even today, I can say without a doubt that I don't think I would fit into any other role. It's something I've been happy about and never looked back since then.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I've seen some of your work. So I just want to touch a little bit on your background from where you come from, only because you do come from one of my favorite places in India. So just let everyone know where you come from, what makes the place in India where you do come from so special. And I'll let you say where you actually come from.
Yes, I know about this fact about you, that you love this place. Well, I do come from the south of India, the state of Kerala. It's actually known as God's own country. A beautiful state with backwaters, beach, and you've got everything there. We are in the coastal area. And like I said, I graduated from one of the top universities in Kerala. I've done my basic, my mentors, I can say, my mentors, that's where I got into the practical side of architecture and interior. I've got all my mentors in Kerala. I've worked with some really great architects there. So I think that's it. I know you love Kerala.
I have to say, one of the things when I did go down to Kerala quite a few years ago now, I actually noticed how beautiful some of those buildings were. So I can just imagine the sort of training that you would have had there, because it was just spectacular. I still can't believe that it didn't even feel like I was in India, especially because the year before I'd been to Northern India and it was a completely different place. So absolutely great place to train because it is beautiful. So one of the things we want to talk about tonight, and I wanted to bring you on as a guest, is because a lot of the times when we do our own home renovations, we believe that we can do them ourselves. But I have to say that I have done over the past years many home renovations, and it doesn't quite go to plan. Not only does the budget seem to blow out, but it's been very difficult working with different trades, trying to coordinate trades, and actually knowing the quality and if things are being done properly. And I know that that is exactly what you specialize in. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you work with people? And also I'd love you to tell us a little bit of how you save people from falling into the perils of things going wrong, because that's the most important thing.
I'm glad, Sandra, you said the things, the most of the problems that I solve, you pinpointed them, all of them correctly. To be honest, you've said exactly things that I keep repeating to most of the clients that I see or somewhere that I have to talk about. See, before getting into that, there's one myth that I'd like to bust here, because unfortunately people have this impression from somewhere that an interior designer can blow your budget. And the other thing is, what an interior designer designs, you can't find a builder to build it. These are two things that I have seen even today when clients approach me. These are the two questions they have before they're able to commit that they want to utilize my service. So one thing is, yes, you do have to pay the interior designer their fees, but the common analogy here would be going to the gym. Like we've heard this n number of times, you can go to the gym yourself and figure out what you need to do and do things, or you have your personal trainer who studies you, who knows what your problem is and who knows the best solution for you. It's the same thing that you apply when you think about it. Of course, renovations, even I have seen people jump into huge mistakes and spending heaps more money when they try to do it themselves rather than having a designer. See, as a designer, unfortunately, the other thing is people think we come only towards the end of the project to fluff the cushions up. That's not true. The scope and the range, the skills that we have to offer is on a wider scale. So we come with all the skill set, the professional expertise, the background, the codes, the knowledge that is required. That's why sometimes you get a solution so quickly from a designer. It's just because of the experience and because of the fact that we have worked on it and we've seen most of the things before. So that is one thing that I'd like to say about using an interior designer. And second, when we design, it's like we know what we're designing and that can be created and can be built by a builder. We might have to tweak it a little bit depending on the budget or something, but anything that's designed and drawn, we know that can be done. So these are the first two myths that I wanted to bust before, we get into the topic about saving money. Now, when unfortunately, when you come across renovation, people tend to call a renovator or a builder first and tell them, this is what we need to do. But there is a stage that goes before it. Builders are skilled to do the build. There is something called a design that happens before it, where we designers come into play. We actually discuss your requirements, study your space, and provide you a couple of solutions in which you can go ahead. We can provide images, sketches, even technical drawings, so you actually know what your space is going to look like and feel like even before it's done. So that is a huge step because you're seeing right before that. Even 3D images help so much because you do a 3D image, the client is able to visualize the space. Not everybody understands, the 2D technical drawing. So we have other ways in which we can explain. Similarly, even just to be, say, for example, you need to select a tile. You walk into a tile shop, there are so many tiles. Where do you start from? And you'll be spending so much time if you had to do a research and figure out what goes where and how it goes. These are things we come and we solve it prior, because once the design is done, then we start putting the materials and the appliances and, say, for example, splashback, all the colors, tiles, everything starts going in place. And we do the hard work, select whatever we need, because by then we've understood what you like, and we provide you one or two options, then from which it becomes so much easier for you to select, yeah, I like this, or nay, I don't want this. The other thing is sometimes people, because they tell, and look, I'm not saying all builders do it, but most builders do not have a design team. They're skilled to do the build. They're the doers of the job. So you might tell them, but you don't know what they have understood. And it's only once they do it, you realize, oh, this is not what you meant, and that's how it's come. Then what do? Building is not cheap. It's not just easy to pull everything down and do it again. So these are steps that we do much, much prior, even before the work starts, because this is done on the paper first. So, anything you've got to change can be changed on the paper easily. So I also say, like, it's not the first design done and it gets accepted. No, it's a brainstorming session that happens with the client. 1 meeting, 2 meeting, 3 meetings, until you finalize the design. And then comes about tweaking. See, when you're custom building, you've got a great power, because you can actually get what you want where you want it. So if there's an expert involved, there are a lot of technical side to it as well. It has to be correct to do it. So when you've got an expert involved, we know the basics of how it will work. Then it's just a matter of putting things together and figuring out what works best for you. We've heard about this. It's a very common, the kitchen triangle, but that's not the only thing. Like now, most people, kitchen triangle, that is the space between the sink, your cooktop, and the fridge. That is referred as a kitchen triangle. But there's so much more to that. Your storage solution, especially when you do small spaces, you need to look at the storage solution. So those are all kind of aspects that we do much prior, before even the build starts. And then we are able to send the same drawings out to different builders. So when you get a quote, you're comparing apples to apples. So nobody's doing a guesswork. You've given them the drawings, you've given them the specification, and that's what they're looking and quoting. So it becomes easier for the client also to talk and decide. And we help the clients to make a decision on which builder would be best suited. It's not always about money, because there are many other aspects when deciding a builder as well. We guide the clients to make a decision. Then the next phase is when the project actually starts on site. So that's another thing, because whatever drawings you give, things can happen, some things can come up. So you need to monitor that. That has to be monitored, that is done. Or if there's a problem, an alternative solution is provided. So when we are involved, we actually think for the clients. We do not think for the builders, because sometimes builders might come up with an option which is just easy to build, but that may not be the best option. So we've got, someone coming from a different aspect, and probably we might even provide 1 or 2 solutions and then refer to the client to see what works for them. So like every step, there is a professional expertise that's coming into play throughout the whole. And to be honest, when you look at the design brief from the start to the end of the project, it's at least from, say, 3 to 6 months easily. So it's that time frame that you have a dedicated professional with you, guiding you through every step of the process. So that's where I feel that is a huge thing, and people need to be aware of the services we offer.
Absolutely. And you know what, it's not so much about the money. For me, it's about not having the headaches, because if something goes wrong, as you said before, sometimes the builders just do what's easiest for them, not what's right for the client, and then you don't get what you want, and you've spent thousands of dollars on a renovation. And when I'm talking thousands, I mean they've always been in the tens of thousands, whether it's a kitchen, even a small bathroom, right? And so it's a lot of money to have a mistake or to have something that you're not happy with. So for me, it's not about the money, it's about the peace of mind. It's about not having to think about it, just picking, knowing that there's someone looking after it. I mean, it's really funny, because a lot of people do just get builders, and without thinking, they are just builders. They're not designers. They're not interior designers. And it was good. You said something about fluffing cushions. Is my understanding that that's an interior decorator, completely different to an interior designer? Because a decorator doesn't have the architectural expertise that you have. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can sort of divide it that way, saying, because an interior designer has, they know the science and technology that's behind a design and a build. While interior decorator is more about styling your work, where you're not touching the structure or anything, but rejigging, with your position of your furniture and styling it. Now, in saying that, there are a lot of interior decorators who are good designers as well. But when you look at the qualification and the skill set, an interior designer can be an interior decorator, but technically an interior decorator is not always an interior designer. So this, the fluffing of cushion actually comes towards the end of the stage, which is more, you can call it like a styling and decoration. Yeah. So I actually do that side as well, if needed, but I specialize in interior designing, especially kitchens and bathrooms.
Well, the kitchens and the bathrooms are really, the kitchen's the heart of the home, and bathrooms, everyone wants a really nice bathroom that they can go in and relax and have a bath if they want to. So they are, some of the most important rooms in the house, followed by laundry. I really think you need a good laundry, because that's the next thing.
Absolutely.
So, like I said before, I think that for peace of mind and to know that you will get exactly what you want, because someone's come in and, sometimes we can't think outside the box, and someone like yourself will be able to guide us outside that box a little bit for things that we possibly wouldn't see ourselves. So if somebody would like to contact you, I know you've actually at the moment, you're doing some styling work with some clients because we're getting to Christmas.
Yes.
So if someone would like to contact you and have a little bit of a conversation, can you tell us a little bit about how the process runs if they would like to have a chat with you and possibly work with you?
See, one thing I have is I offer a 20 minutes free chat over the phone that anyone, I do have a link, I can attach it, but anyone can click on a link and book a time for a 20 minutes chat. That's completely free, no obligation at all. Because the other thing I realize is people have a lot of questions and they don't know whom to ask and, where they can get an answer. Sometimes it could be something that I could help them with. If not, I can direct them to, where they need to go or whom they need to speak. So I offer this 20 minutes chat to anyone who wants to have a discussion about their project. Now, the one you mentioned about Christmas, yes, anyone who's looking to spruce up their interior before Christmas, I'm offering like a design day service consultation. So I'm doing a 6-hour completely designed. So it could be something like rearranging furniture or, buying small decor items, or even coming shopping with you to say buy cushions or rugs or anything, something that's covered in a 6-hour window period. I'm doing that for the cost of 5. So this is just Christmas special, and I'm just planning to take 2 or 3 people just before Christmas, because we're almost there. We're almost in Christmas. I know. So just that. So that's the one I have. But like you said, I offer a 20-minute free consultation. Anytime. It could be design, whether they're doing renovation or even new build. There are different services that I offer. I also have my website up live. So if it's ellendesign.com.au. So if you search on there, you can find the services I offer. I've put the link there again if you need to book a chat. Or usually some, when I do post and all, if they DM me or even comment down below, I can get back to them.
Beautiful.
On their question.
And like I said at the beginning, it's one of our biggest assets that we all buy and invest in, yet we don't stop to think. And I don't know why we do this, because, we were even talking about people that buy houses without getting any advice. And it is the biggest investment that you have. So it's really important that you make it right. And, you know, rather than thinking about what's someone going to cost me, it's part of the cost and the build to make everything run smoothly. So I've been really, really glad that I've spoken to you tonight, and I hope that we have helped a few people. And thank you for offering everyone that 20-minute free consult too. It doesn't cost you anything to have a chat. And, you know, I think it's really important that people do have a look at what it is that they're going to, you know, invest into their home, and really make, speaking to a professional like yourself, number one priority, so that what they do is exactly right for them. So thank you again so much for being here. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you tonight. And like I said, if you'd like to contact Lathika, you can do so through me or through her website. I know that on Facebook we've already got her page up, and you also have a group, actually, don't you, on Facebook now, that you offer some really great hints and tips, because I've seen you. Do you want to just quickly mention that as well?
Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I do have my group. It's called Lathika Nair Design. So it's open to public, and I'm doing hints and tips regularly, you know, some live videos at the job sites. If there's something I want to share, I'm putting that up. I do general posts, and I've mentioned anyone in the group, if they have a question, they can always pop it there. We can have a group discussion, or I can get in touch with them to discuss the same. So I do have a Facebook group in the name Lathika Nair Design.
Yeah, which makes it really, really easy. And yeah, I saw one of your posts the other day, and yeah, you know, I used to think white was white, but now I realize white isn't just white. There's so many shades of white. So
yeah, you would really find it funny. It's you know, white is one of the toughest colors to choose when you do an interior. There's quite a lot. So I love speaking, and every time I speak about white, I've done this before on my page as well. I've had people actually interacting, because I've recognized that's a really good color, and people really understand that it's not as simple as you think.
no,
There's a lot in the whites.
and black would probably be the same too. I reckon there's different blacks as well. So
yes,
there you go.
there
And I
is. You're
think
right.
if you don't get it right, I think it can throw the whole design out.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Sandra, and I'm so
Yeah,
glad you mentioned so many things which made it so easier for me to speak about it.
my pleasure. So guys, if you're listening or watching this and you want to contact Lathika, just let us know, and I will definitely make sure that I put you in contact with her. So thank you again for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. And for you guys who are in the